Alright, working on these brackets. Kind of been moving ahead without videoing too much, but I'm going to do a little update on it as we go here. So this front bracket, I'm using the bumper bolt holes. Hope that's not too dark in there. Let me lighten this up a bit. There we go. So there's a series of bumper brackets there, the upper and lower holes. So I'm utilizing the lower holes for now. The bolt in there and bolt there. And I'm going to put a piece of angle iron in here to give it a third support. I'll do both on the same on both sides. A blunder, not a blunder, but a miscalculation. I intended to flip these over the other way. I think Coolio brought it up. Michael, I believe his name is, but he said he thought it would be better. He has some experience with these units, and he thought it would be better if they were flipped over, so if it did slide, it would only hit the post on each side. But what I'm going to do here, because I did make these wrong twice now, I don't know why. For some reason, I couldn't get it in my head to remember to flip them over. But anyway, they're made now. I'm not doing them again. But what I'll do, and it was a common thing we used to do in the mining industry. We had anything that was on a slide, you put a hole here and put just a bolt in, so it can't slide off. So it would be about the same distance. My locking mechanism is built, but there's a couple of mods to it. That's just a piece there. It drops down in that slot. It's not perfectly aligned. Another thing I should have a little closer attention to, but it works. But what I'm not happy with is the strength of this piece right here. So what I'm going to do, excuse me. What the plan is, I'm going to put a piece of metal over this, like gussets rather. That's what I'm looking for. I'll gusset it up some, a couple of spots, and it'll be stronger. So if I gusset each side on this pinhole, and this is a bolt, this is the hinge pin. This is just for locking it down through this hole. So once it's in place, you can put the bolt back in, or a pin back in, and just hold it in place. But like I say, I like to have it more strength right here. So probably a gusset there and a gusset there on both sides. And then let's go to the back of the car. I'm not done there yet. I need some work. So let's have a look. So here's the back one. The back unit, other than a plate on here with a nut on it, so I can lock this down, at least add a little pressure to the hub. The back one's pretty much done. Again, the same deal. I made the mistake as I did in the front. This is the first mistake. I wanted these to be flipped over. That's where Coolio, that's the channel that it's on, mentioned about the brackets being flipped. Made a mistake there, and I don't know. Too much other stuff on the go, I guess. Lots to think about these days. So what I'm finding is, I have the bolt out right now, and this is all sitting on the cribs here. But what I want to do, and I already marked it off, is put a plate underneath to grab some of this. So I want to put a flat plate to hold give it some support. There's really not much up top to do it to. I could run it up to the no, there's not much. There's nothing here. I guess I could run up from here up to there, but there's no holes that I have to make holes, and I really want to do that. So I'm thinking I'll lower this down because it's not level. Once I level it out, I can put a plate underneath and capture the back of that frame there where I marked it off. So that's the plan there. I might have to redo something with the holes. I might have to drop the holes down to give it enough clearance to go around that frame rail right there. But anyway, that's that. She's looking pretty good. I started working on the connector tube. Connector tube is important. Here's the rest of it here. It's going to be pretty heavy, but I have the steel. And when you have something, and the price of this stuff these days, yeah, you use what you have. All right, let's get back at her. She's coming along pretty good though. I got the whole front end taken off again. It was just sitting on there. These are the aprons. I think if anybody hasn't been watching close, I took the aprons out of a parts car I had, and I have that one and I have this one here. So I have those aprons ready to go on, or not ready to go on. They still need to be bead blasted. And this battery, this is the battery piece that I sent to John in Arkansas, one of these. Mine was in pretty decent shape. I'll have to put this piece back on, but that's pretty easy. It needs, when I have this apron piece off, I'll do it. Because it has a piece on it and I'll just match it up. Anyway, let's get back on the lift. It's looking pretty good. Oh yeah, and this is kind of over here. So I have this already pre-drilled. That's why I don't want to take them off and flip them again. I already made one. So anyway, that's a small job. I mean, as long as I have something to keep it from sliding off, that's all we really need here. All right, I don't know if you can see me or not. This is the part that you're be concerned about right here. I'm going to lift the front end a little bit just to see how this setup reacts. It's all fastened down. I've got my angles in, bolted up, both sides the same as this. So let's just give it a little lift, and you'll see if this flexes much. And I realize that these need a little flex, otherwise when you're lifting them, unless you have two people, that you could twist something by going up and down, or you're walking back and forth a lot. However, I'm trying to get it so there's very little sag in it. So let's see what happens here. And this is the first time I've lifted it, so there's no pressure on that jack, really. All right, I'm not going to go too high because the back is hooked on and it might pull it over. I don't have the center post in yet, the connector post. Well, that's pretty good. See if does it move easy? Oh, very easy to move. Very good. Well, let's get her down off there a little bit. There she is. And okay, that was successful. Oh, I didn't check. Hold on. I wanted to stand back and have a look at the angle of those arms. It didn't look like anything moved, but you guys would have seen it, but I never. So just hold on. I'm going to have a peek. Huh. Square is square. Perfect. Now, the idea of putting that upright forward on here, so when the car is turned, it'll have downward pressure on it. So it's kind of a triangle, right? So they built a triangle there. That's good. I'm happy with that. Let's get her back down. And like I say, this jack, it's a 3-ton jack, so no problem to lift it, but I'm surprised how little pressure it takes to jack it up. All right, we're back down. All right, let's go work on the back now. So here's my little simple safety device. Doesn't need to be much. I mean, if this apparatus, if I forget for some reason to tighten the bolts down and it starts to slide, it'll come up against this bolt. And the same on the other side, one over there as well. So it can only move this much on the frame. And I mean, locked down solid, it won't go anywhere. I would bet a lot on that one. But if I forget to tighten those bolts up and I start turning it, then yeah, that bet's a lot lower for me, because the thought sometimes isn't there. Well, just like I made these arms, made them backwards twice, but now we're living with them. Anyway, so that's a little safety device you can use if you want to keep stuff from extending past the end of your runway, we'll call it. All right, that's it. Very simple to do. Drill a hole and put a little bolt in. Working on the rear hanger brackets now. So I decided to go ahead and change this a bit. I didn't like how far it came out, and I'll show you on the other one that's still in there. So there's the bolt. So we only had, you can see where I drilled one of my safety bolt holes. And there's where the hanger came. So like Coolio said, if you flip them over. Now, I meant to do that on the front and I forgot to, but there was quite a bit of room to work with there. But the back is hanging out quite a long ways. So I'm gonna flip them over so it would be in here somewhere where I'm tightening them up. You can see where I've been practicing with it. So, and this is how far over on they are when they're on the car. So I'd rather have the long side in. And then by doing that, I can get this bar, well, it's dark in here. I'll show you when I get it done. So let's go back over to the piece. So now this is the long side in toward the upright post, toward the gussets. So if I cut a section out here, and I don't even have to cut all this out because there's a recess, but I'm gonna have to go check, see how much it can cup over it. Like the frame rail can go in here and hook on that. So that'll even another layer of safety. Let me just take a look at that right now. I'm quite sure I can. Yeah, I can, but not all of it. Right back here, the back of the car, I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but right here, there's a drop down lip. But the rest of it could have that piece on, and I could just snip a little section out there. All right, let's see if we can do that way. Let's try it on the car again. I have had it on and off a couple times, but this should fit now right over the frame rail, and then the bolts still go through those holes. I may have to hog them out a little bit just to get them up a little higher. They may be too tight, but I'd rather them a little too tight than too loose. So I'm going to go down under the car, we'll put that on and see how she looks. I had to raise the holes a tiny bit, but now it's up tight against the rail. And those rails are in good shape, so I don't need to do any work to them. And if I do, well, I'll do it on the ground. I'm using original bumper bracket bolts, but they're from the front. On the other side, I had some grade 8 bolts to put in. But yeah, so she's all bolted down. She's got some support. I've got the brackets the way they should have been in the first place. I'm happy with it. I've got over here, if I can get up. Right here, I have my little safety lock on, right there. And I also have the nuts tightened up. So let's set up on the tripod and let's see what this looks like if we lift one end. She's all bolted down. I checked the nuts on the hanger arms, brackets rather. Check the arms. And I'm going to lift it up off the blocks there a little bit and see how that feels on the old girl. Now, like I said, there's no centerpiece, so I got to be careful. If these wheels start to come up, then that becomes a problem. All right, that's probably good enough on this end. Oh yeah, moves easy. That's that. All right, I'm gonna go lift the other end for a second. Just hold on. Let's take you over to the other end. We'll do a little lift on this. See if we can get it to swing just a tiny bit. All right. These glasses up. These are magnifying glass. There we go. I can see a little better. Now this one here, I think I'll have a second person jacking on the back at the same time, and we get that to come up even. There. That's probably enough right now. See if this thing will spin a little. I'm not going to spin it, but oh yeah, look at that, guys. That's like perfect almost right there. Well, not really. Let's have a look down the side of her. Oh yeah, that's cool. Wow. All right, so that's all I'm going to do with it there now. My lock on it. It doesn't take much pressure to move that baby around. Good. Let's check the door gap. Let's see how the door gap is on this guy. Well, I don't need to adjust that too much, I don't think. She's teetering there pretty good. So here's the door gap. Oh yeah. It's like a brand new car. A little bit tight on the top. This is the side that still has the torque box done. But I can adjust this. That's why I built the supports for it, so I can adjust this out. So if I adjust that side, push it backwards, that nuts, clockwise I guess it is, and that one. Yeah, clockwise to extend them. I can open this door gap up a tiny bit. And I'm going to do that because I want this torque box to be right. But wow, that's pretty good. That's I made her about 3 feet longer. With a 200 and what are these cars? 218 inches roughly. Well, another 36 inches longer. Well, that was kind of cool. Now I'm going to paint these arms. I got to put those gusset on for there. And more importantly, that frame. I already started building it, that connector tube. So I've got 2 more of those to put in, and then I have to cut the length. She's sitting back down on her blocks right now. But that was pretty cool. On this end, I don't think, if she's balanced right, I don't think I need to worry about any kind of a mechanism here. Lost all my stuff on the ground. I gather up, clean up the shop a bit. But yeah, good. All right, so I'm going to paint those arms, get that stuff done, and then we'll go right into a actual adjusting, setting it up, and I'm not going to spin it right over because that's just, I don't see the need for it, but I'd like to be able to get it so it's up on its side. There she is. One chicken, one Thunder chicken on the rotisserie, ready for some roasting. Well, she's coming along pretty good. I'm just now setting the height, trying to get the center balance on this thing. I didn't paint that center piece. I ended up using a couple pieces of lighter tube that I had. That steel I had is pretty darn heavy for working it around underneath. And I had this tube, so I joined a couple together, and I did use one of the 3x3s down in here. But I'm just balancing it out here. I did raise the back already a little bit, so now I'm just in the process of doing the front one. I'm going to go one more push up. This is how much more I'll go up is the height of the cylinder. So all I'm doing is letting it down on the blocks. It would be nice to have the screw like I see on some of these units. If I were doing multiple cars or was going to be switching it around to different vehicles, probably would do that. It's a good idea. I think it's a value added, but for me, just doing one vehicle, probably not going to need that much. I think I could take the extra half hour and fiddle with it. All right, so I'll stop in the camera and I'll show you what I'm up to here. All right, back at her. Had a little interruption there. Sorry about that, guys. Anyway, you'll see, I wanted to mention, I almost forgot this. You'll see these marks up in here. It's not because I've had it up there before. This is the first time I'm starting to adjust it. I mean, I've had it suspended, but now this is the first time I'm going to actually see what it can do. So what those marks were is because I flipped these around to give me more, have more ability to get to the center of gravity for this car. Rather than raising the brackets. And I'm hoping it'll work, but we'll know in a minute. Well, there it is. She's all balanced out. I had to shift that frame a little bit to the right, to the passenger side, just about a ½ inch. That's what was giving me the tilt. Right now, she's it's sitting on the locking mechanism, but it's just balancing there. So let's take it off and we'll do I'm not going to roll it right over. I have the center tube is there kind of a stop in case it got away on me. I also want to mention that I ratchet strapped the 2 doors together because if one swings open, she's not going to be a pretty sight. That's going to jam that right in the ground when it goes off center. But yeah, it's balanced up pretty good here now.
I've got to tighten up the uprights. I haven't done that yet. Lots of dirt in this car still. Wow. It's insane how much dirt's in these old cars. Definitely, if you're doing one of these, any of these old cars, clean out the rockers. You guys know that anyway. You got most of you guys that watch mine are car people, and you know very well what they need to do with these things. The pipe I mentioned I used instead of that heavy tubing. Save the heavy tubing for something else. Pipe is fine. The only thing is it was a little cocky-eyed. It's probably why you're hearing the creaking, because I think those frames aren't perfectly aligned. But it's working good, and that maybe is why I had to balance or shove that framework over. But yeah, the door gaps didn't change at all when I put it up on here. This car is solid. I mean, these old Thunderbirds, I mean, no wonder they were so heavy. They have that outer frame structure. It's all tied together with the torque boxes. It's not just frame rails stuck to sheet metal. They actually built, I guess, similar to what would be an external frame, but built into it. And I know the Mustangs and stuff, they're lighter, and there's a reason they don't have the steel in them. Not knocking on a Mustang. I love a Mustang. And I've been tempted, like Nick there, Vintage Thunderbird Repair, was to go get myself one. But I have too much on the go. Speaking of too much on the go, I have that, I was thinking about what would I do with this rotisserie after the Thunderbird's done. Well, some would say that'll never be done, but and you might be right. But I have that Ranchero, and I don't know if anybody, there's been a lot of new subscribers to my channel. That Ranchero GT is a rare car. It has the optional glow blue paint, but that's not what makes it rare. What makes it rare, it's a 4-speed, factory installed 4-speed top loader with the Hurst shifter and 351 4-barrel. Now there's debate whether they're called a Cobra Jet or just a 4-barrel. It is a 4-bolt main. It's a numbers matching car. It has the car serial number on the back of the block. And I don't want to give that away, but no one wants to watch Ranchero restoration videos. That's pretty clear. But I really like to get it done just for the sake of maybe resell, because it is a fair. I did the Marty report, so that's why I'm saying I know what it is. I think there's 958 made in 1973 with that transmission code and trim package. So, and it has a CB radio in it too, not a factory one, but it was. I wish it did, because they did offer in. I think the Country Squires had a CB radio, but not that one. Someone put it in after. It's built right in the dash. It's kind of a cool. I think made by Realistic, a little Citizens Band radio right in the dash. It's pretty cool. Anyway, that's the old Thunderbird rotisserie, or the rotisserie for the Thunderbird, I should say. I said I was going to do a price. I'm going to estimate around $600 to build this. My wife usually watches the money really close, and she usually tells me when I'm spending too much. She never said a word, so she must like this rotisserie. She never mentioned it at all. But I'll put it in the description, and if I miss it, I'll add it maybe at some point once I get all of that. I'll just do a rough estimate. I'm thinking around 600, because I know what most of the stuff roughly costs. But the bolts shocked me on how much the bolts cost. Anyway, I've been rambling on too much here. Now I'm talking to you guys and looking at what I need to do here. Lots of grinding here. Holy man, this is why I did the rotisserie, because there's so much of that stuff. Grinding over there, some patching. Yeah, the floor, the torque box here needs to be fixed up, and now it's right there in front of me. Perfect. All right, guys. Thanks for your patience in getting this baby done. I know it took a long time, but I haven't been working on it full time. Lots going on in the life these days. My wife's mom isn't super great, so she's been running back and forth, looking after her, and because her brother works, and the family all have jobs, so my wife is the only one that's available through the day to go check on her. I mean, you guys are all, most of you guys are older people, and you're all well aware of family, that's aging families, we'll call it. It's a part of life, the cycle of life, aging family members. All right, that's enough rambling. You guys take care, and we'll get another video together pretty quick here, hopefully, and I'll post it, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks a lot for watching.